So this Easter I started my first attempt at dyeing and decorating eggs with traditional methods, and I used onion skins, and I had two different test groups, so to say. The first group was brown onion skins, which I collected over the last months. Every time I peeled an onion, I saved the skin, and I had like a little pot full of onion skins, like a small pot in which you usually boil eggs. And then shortly before I tried the dyeing, I bought the red onions and I peeled a couple of them, maybe 10 or 12, like 3 little bags. I peeled them and I also tried the red onion skins. So what I did, I boiled the eggs and I at the same time boiled the onion skins in 2 small pots each. And I then put the boiled eggs into the simmering pots with onion skins and water. And I left them for different times, like I think average was like 20 to 30 minutes that I left the eggs inside. They appeared to become brown by color, but I think this was due to the light in the kitchen. But on the next day I was happy to see that they actually got this red, beautiful deep red color that I really like and that I actually also wanted to achieve. And yeah, obviously the longer you let them in, the darker the color becomes. I also read that you can put them in and then you take them out, let them dry, and then you can give them another wash, so to say. You can put them into the color twice and then the tone becomes darker as well. So this is my favorite tone that I wanted to achieve, but you can also have them a little bit lighter, like this one. You can also have them brownish, and if you just dip them in for a short time, they become like yellow. But yeah, I was very happy at the next day to see them in this color. And at the same evening I tried to also decorate them, and I read that you can use needles. So I had my etching needles and I tried it with these etching needles, and one of my first tries was this one. And these are like ground kept chicken eggs, so the chickens are not in free range, they are just held on the ground in a big hall, and they have quite thin skins. I wasn't able to get free range eggs, they were sold out at this day, at Easter Saturday. And so using this etching needle and securing them at the same time with the other hand, it puts a lot of strain, a lot of stress on the eggs, and they can break, especially when they have little like pockets of air underneath. But yeah, so you have to be very careful with these modern basically industrial eggs, because they have very thin skins, shells. I recommend getting either free-range eggs or actually buying the eggs from some local gardener or farmer who has his own chickens. They usually have very thick shells, and they are probably best for decorating these. The other thing is, at the same evening, it was like 9 o'clock already and my eyes were getting tired, and it was actually really tiresome to do this. It's not easy to edge into this egg and get a beautiful white line. Maybe I used the wrong tool, but it was actually quite hard, and as I said, it's easy to break them in the process. Here is another try that I did. And here as well I broke it at one point. This is an egg that my girlfriend tried. but she also didn't have much time, and she agreed that it was quite time consuming. On the next day, I used a little drill, a little power drill, where you can attach little different heads, and where you have like a movable head where you know there's a drill, and then you have a line, and then you have a smaller part where you can attach the head, and you can use it freely. In German it's called a Dremel. It's a kind of small power tool and power drill, and I tried different heads here, and it was a little bit faster to do it this way and a little bit easier. It gives you more freedom of expression, but it's also very loud, and the people where I stayed, my father and my stepmother, they got quite annoyed with the noise, and so I had to stop. My last try was this one. It's basically the only one that I basically finished. I just made this line of this Greek pattern here all around, and yeah, but then the people got annoyed with the noise, and then I had to stop. But anyways, this was my first attempt, and I was actually quite pleased with the results, and it gave me a lot of inspiration and experience. So I noticed several things while doing this. The first obvious thing was the thing that you need actual real eggs to do this kind of stuff. You know, you need eggs that are from free-range chickens, that have a thick skin, that are healthy and good, you know, to actually do this traditional art. The next thing that you can get from the next experience that you can get from this trial was that there's no waste. You know, in traditional society there's no such thing as waste. For example, the onion skins, when you cook, you just save the onion skins and they are a dying color, you know, so you don't need to buy chemical colors. You don't need to throw your onion skins away. You can just use them and, you know, and decorate your eggs. The third thing that I learned, or that came to my mind when I did this, was that back in the days the people must have had a lot of time at their hands, or they must have had a lot of hands. So either the people had many more people in the household, like all the women, the grandmother, the aunts, the sisters, and the siblings, everybody was helping. Usually the girls and the women of the house were helping and decorating the eggs with you know, a multitude of different styles, and each style was probably also an expression of the personality of the woman or the girl decorating the egg. And we usually have this notion that back in the days the people had these hard lives, you know, all this hardship and work, and you know, before machines were invented to make our lives easier, they all had to use hand tools and had to do all these tedious houseworks, you know, these chores like knitting and cleaning and cooking and decorating the eggs the traditional way. Yeah, I guess what's more likely is that back in the days the people actually had much more time, when they actually all had a little kind of farming. I can still remember my grandmothers and great grandmothers who all had their little gardens with chickens and with like bunnies and other animals, and their vegetable gardens, and they were all a little bit more self-sufficient, and they had much more time at their hands and were much more calm and relaxed. And I guess they also had enough time to spend during Easter to decorate the eggs in a beautiful way without having to buy, you know, chemical colorants or just pre-colored eggs. I noticed this Easter most of the people buy pre-colored and pre-boiled eggs at the supermarket, which are just in different colors, and these colors look very artificial. You can also buy colors that look a little bit more pleasant, but they also look artificial. I really love this natural tone that that these eggs get, and also the little impurities that they get. It's very beautiful. It's like a beautiful patina. Um, then I also noticed that nowadays people hang little eggs on their bushes and on their plants in their gardens, and they're also like plastic and in artificial colors, and it's a little bit, too aggressive to the eye to see these plastic and these unnatural colors, in your garden. I would rather use natural colors and use these decorating methods. And one method that I also used during this Easter, in the months before, I ate my eggs raw, and I did it by putting a hole on each side and basically sucking them out. And then you have, if you're careful, you have the shell preserved completely. And I remember back when I was a child, we used to do this by blowing the egg out. We didn't eat it, but we blowed the inside out, also through two little holes. And then you have the shell, which you can then decorate, and you can attach a little line to it, and you can, hang it up somewhere in your garden or in your house or in your plants, your room plants. And this is another method that rarely anybody uses nowadays. Nobody that I know of does this anymore, because, as I said, in our modern and advanced technological society, apparently nobody has time to do anything like that. But I hope you got some inspiration. I hope you can steal away from the modern world, steal back some of the time that the modern world stole from you, and use this time to save some onions, save some egg shells and some eggs, and decorate your eggs the traditional way.